You know, this single line, it just captures the profound ache at the very heart of one of literature's greatest spiritual journeys. It's the story of a man who, on the outside, had everything the world told him he should want, but on the inside just felt this deep, gnawing emptiness.
All right, so let's dive into this timeless classic. What we're going to do is follow the incredible path of Siddhartha, a man who literally casts aside every comfort, every tradition, and every teaching in his relentless quest to understand his own self. It's a journey that really makes you question everything you think you know about learning, wisdom, and what it means to be enlightened. So, where does our story begin? Well, it starts in a world of privilege and piety. Siddhartha is the son of a Brahmin, which means he's born into the highest caste, destined for this amazing life of respect and spiritual leadership. On the surface, his life looks absolutely perfect. And he was, without a doubt, the golden child. His father saw a great wise man in him, his mother was bursting with pride, and his best friend, Govinda, was already ready to be his follower. Siddhartha mastered all the debates, all the meditations. He even knew how to speak the sacred word, Om. By all accounts, he had it made. But that was the problem, wasn't it? Despite mastering all the external stuff, all the rituals, this deep dissatisfaction was just brewing inside him. As the book puts it, all the holy water in the world couldn't quench his spiritual thirst. He just knew, deep down, that something was fundamentally missing. And so, he makes a choice that is just radical. He leaves everything behind, his home, his family, his entire destiny to go find his own path. And his first stop? He decides to seek answers from people who push the body and spirit to their absolute limits. Siddhartha joins up with the Samanas, a group of wandering ascetics. And he doesn't just dip his toe in, he goes all in. He fasts for weeks, he stands for hours in the burning sun and freezing rain, letting his body just waste away. The whole goal was simple but absolutely brutal. You had to annihilate the self, to kill your ego through extreme suffering, with the belief that whatever was left would be pure, universal spirit. But after 3 long years of this, it hits him. He has this massive realization. This self-denial, it isn't enlightenment. It's just another form of escape. He even compares his intense meditations to a drunkard numbing his pain with rice wine. Both are just temporary flights from the self, but neither leads to real, lasting wisdom. He realizes he's learned absolutely nothing. So what's next? He and Govinda hear about a new teacher, Gautama the Buddha, a man who has actually achieved enlightenment. Siddhartha is completely in awe of the Buddha's perfect peace, and Govinda, well, he immediately joins his followers. But Siddhartha spots what he thinks is a fundamental problem. While the Buddha offers a clear path, a perfect teaching, Siddhartha becomes convinced that the ultimate truth, that direct experience of enlightenment, just can't be passed down through words. And get this, he respectfully goes right up to the Buddha himself. He argues that while the teachings are flawless, they're still just teachings. The one thing they're missing is the secret of what the Buddha personally experienced. Realizing this is something you can't communicate, Siddhartha decides he has to leave all teachers behind and learn from the only source that truly matters, himself. So after totally abandoning the spiritual world, Siddhartha does a complete 180. He figures that if he's really going to understand the self, he has to experience all of it. That includes the world of the senses, of flesh and desire, everything he denied for so long. He walks right into the city and seeks out the most beautiful and famous courtesan, a woman named Kamala. She becomes his teacher, not in spirituality, but in the art of love, showing him a world of pleasure and physical connection he never even knew was possible. Now, of course, this new life isn't cheap, so to afford his time with Kamala, he also learns the art of business from a rich merchant named Kamaswami. For years, he just plays the game of commerce, piling up wealth, property, and power. He dives headfirst into the material world. But, and you can probably guess where this is going, this path turns out to be just as empty as being an ascetic. Years go by, and the game he was playing becomes a prison. He grows weary, cynical, and just disgusted with himself. He starts gambling away his money, desperate to feel something, anything. That spiritual voice inside him goes completely silent. He's lost. After decades of living this hollow life, Siddhartha finally hits rock bottom. Totally disgusted with the man he's become, he wanders out of the city and finds himself at a familiar place, the very same river he crossed so many years ago. Standing there at the river's edge, he feels this terrible, crushing emptiness. He sees his entire life as a complete and utter failure, and he's just overwhelmed by the wish to let go, to drown himself and finally end the pointless cycle of his existence. And just as he's about to let himself fall into the water, a sound stirs from the very depths of his soul. It's that sacred syllable he learned as a boy, Om. The sound awakens his spirit, which had been dormant for so long. It reminds him of the indestructible nature of life, and it stops him in his tracks. He collapses and falls into a deep, long, healing sleep. When he finally awakens, he feels completely renewed. He's no longer the rich merchant, no longer the starving ascetic. He's a new man. And he has this great epiphany. Everything he went through, the sins, the despair, the foolishness, it was all necessary. He had to get completely lost to be able to find himself again. And this is where his new life truly begins, right there by the river. He decides he's going to stay and learn from it. He finds the old ferryman, a simple man named Vasudeva, and becomes his apprentice. This, right here, is the final and most important stage of his entire journey. So what's the first great lesson the river teaches him? It's all about time. Vasudeva helps him see that the river only exists in the present. It's at its source and its mouth at the exact same time. And Siddhartha realizes that our ideas of past, present, and future are just constructs. In reality, everything is happening right now. As he learns to listen more and more deeply, he starts to hear not just water, but all the voices of the universe in the river. He hears voices of joy and sorrow, of life and death. And when he finally hears them all at once, not as separate sounds, but as a single whole, they merge into that one sacred word again, Om. He finally understands that all of existence, the good and the bad, is a single unified perfection. But there's one last lesson to learn. Kamala, on her way to see the dying Buddha, gets bitten by a snake near the ferry and dies, leaving Siddhartha with a son he never knew he had. The boy is spoiled, he resents Siddhartha, and he eventually runs away. This leaves Siddhartha with the deep, painful wound of loving someone unconditionally and then losing them. It's this foolish, very human suffering that finally opens his heart completely. In the end, his old friend Govinda, who's still a searching monk, comes to the ferry and asks the now enlightened Siddhartha for a teaching. And Siddhartha gives him the absolute core of his philosophy. True wisdom cannot be put into words. The moment you try, it just sounds like foolishness to the person listening.
And this brings us to his final, most important point. Knowledge, he explains, is something you can communicate. You can learn facts and ideas from a teacher. But wisdom is the direct, lived experience of being one with the world. It can't be taught. It can only be found, lived, and realized by yourself.
And that really brings the whole journey back to us, doesn't it? Siddhartha's entire life was a testament to the idea that the deepest truths aren't found in books or lectures or sermons. They're found in the messy, beautiful, unique experience of living our own lives. Which leaves us with a final thought to chew on. What is the one thing in your life that you know you can only learn for yourself?